Well, good afternoon. Okay. Well, as we all know, Memorial Day originated after the Civil War for the purpose to honor the war dead from the Civil War. And since then, they've been honoring all the veterans in the war dead since then. And that's really, really nice. The veterans appreciate it. But one thing I can tell you about anybody who served in the military or a veteran, they were very glad to do the job. They would like to do more. It really hits home when you get people thinking about you like that. But there's a lot more to this country than the military. I'm sorry, can't hear? Okay. But the military is on the job day in and day out. But there's a lot more to this country than just the military. The everyday American people who've been serving this country in their way all the years since our origination. They're the farmers and the businessmen, the mothers and the students. So you have to recognize all Americans on Memorial Day. That's how I feel. They've all done what they can to make this country a great place. And that's why I feel so fortunate to be an American. But I often think of those who died in battle to preserve our freedom, and they defended it well. And when the ones who survived the battles returned home, and they found their girlfriends or their wives, and they started families, and they kept serving America in their way, as well as the rest of the Americans. And that's the people of America who made our country so great. The military has preserved our freedom, but the people is what makes it great. And it really is an honor for me to speak to you today, because when I see you people out here right now, I agree with Tom Brokaw. He calls you the greatest generation, and I know that's what you are. You are the people that lived through the hard times. You've lived through the Depression. You've seen more changes in this times in history than anybody else ever has. And one of the greatest accomplishments is putting an end to one of the greatest threats this world's ever seen, which was World War II. Now, during World War II was the worst of times, as also the best of times. It was the worst of times because it pulled nearly the entire world into a destructive war that killed nearly 70 million people. As the best of times because it pulled the people of this country together, and they were able to unite and defeat the evil powers that started the war. While millions of men and women were off to war, there were still jobs to do at home. And the people who filled those jobs were mostly the women and the wives and the mothers of this country. They kept the war machine going. They made the weapons. They made the supplies and the clothing. All this was sent out to support the military. It kept us fighting, and after all, we were victorious. And also, you can't forget that the farmers kept the food on the table for Americans at home, plus food for the military to keep us going. And all Americans, they just did whatever they had to do for the war effort. Without them, the military would never made it off the shores. So I guess what I'm just trying to say is our country is now 233 years old, and it's been the American people who've kept us all together. So on this Memorial Day, we're still going to honor the veterans who deserve it well. But I also want you to remember all the Americans from all time who have done their job to keep this country great and the safest and the best place to live. And God bless you all. Thank you very much.